Hi, I'm Alexander Maxim from Utopian.io. Today we will continue our series about PHP. We will check the QuoteMeta method, the Rtrim, the Sha1 file, and Sha1 methods. Let's start with the QuoteMeta method. What's this method and how we can use it? This method or this function adds backslashes in front of a few predefined characters in a string. It returns the string after inserting a backslash in front of all the following characters: the point, the backslash, the plus, the multiplication, the interrogation, the accolade, the sign of omission, the dollar sign, and parentheses. Let's take an example to understand this method. It has the string as parameter and it returns another string. Let's firstly use the echo to print a hidden with each three elements. Then I will create a string variable, for example 20 plus. Now I want to apply the QuoteMeta method to this string to see the effect of the QuoteMeta by adding the backslashes before the predefined characters. Let's use echo to print the result, and we will use QuoteMeta and we will pass the string as parameter. Let's reload and see the result, and before that I need to use the new line to br method, and I will pass the string to this method. Why I have used this method? Because I want to save the same form like that. And we have, before the plus sign, we have the backslash, and before the accolade, before the interrogation, before the parentheses, before the multiplication sign. So before all these characters or predefined characters, the QuoteMeta method will add a backslash before these predefined characters. So imagine if we have this string and we have the dollar sign, etc. When we pass this string as parameter to the QuoteMeta method, it will add backslashes before all these predefined characters. We can use the QuoteMeta method to prevent the SQL injection because it's used for the security of your database, of your queries. After that, we have the Rtrim method. What's the Rtrim method and when we can use it? The Rtrim function or method returns the string after removing all end of string wide characters. It's called without the second parameter. So Rtrim will remove the following characters. We have the /0, which is null, the /t, which is the tab, /n, /x0b, /r, and the space. So firstly, the Rtrim method has two parameters. The first is the string to verify, and the second, which is the charlist. Let's use an example to understand the Rtrim method. I will create another string. I love Utopian, for example. Then I will use echo and I will apply the Rtrim method to this string. Firstly, if we have one parameter, let's, for example, here use the space like that. When we pass this string as parameter to the Rtrim method, this is the result. It will return I love Utopian. But when we inspect the element will be without space at the end. So the Rtrim method will remove the predefined character, which is the space. Now, if we pass the charlist as parameter, for example, I will remove this space and I pass Utopian as second parameter to the Rtrim method. Let's reload and see the result, and the result is I love. So I have deleted the word Utopian from the right to the Rtrim, to the string, sorry. So the Rtrim will start verify from the right. So we have N, and here N, A, E, P, etc. to the letter capital U, and it will remove all this word. Let's see how it works. So we have a string, I love Utopian. When we pass this string to the Rtrim method, and we pass the Utopian word to the Rtrim method also as second parameter, it will return I love. When also we pass the space EV, so we pass all this section, it will return just this section. So it will return I love, I love. When we pass the string without any other parameter, it will remove the tab, the space, the new line, etc. after the string or in the right of the string. This is the Rtrim function. After that, we have the Sha1 file method. What's the Sha1 file method? Firstly, in cryptography, Sha1 secure hash algorithm 1 is a cryptography hash function which takes an input and produces a 160-bit hash value known as a message digest, typically rendered as a hexadecimal number 40 digits long. It was designed by the United States National Security Agency and is a US Federal Information Processing Standard. Let's now explain the Sha1 file. The Sha1 file calculates the Sha1 of the file specified by the file name parameter using the US Secure Hash Algorithm 1. The Sha1 is a hexadecimal number of 40 characters. It returns a string of characters on success and false otherwise. It has two parameters. The first is the file to calculate, and the second is a Boolean parameter. Specifies the spell or binary result format. So it has true and false. True, the binary format of 20 characters, and false by default, a number of 40 characters. Let's see an example to understand more. I have a file called utopian.txt. I will use the Sha1 file method, and I will create a variable Sha1 file equals to Sha1 file, and I will pass the file name, which is utopian.txt. This file contains I love Utopian. Now I will use echo to print the Sha1 file, and after that I will use echo again. I will break the line and concatenate it with the str length. I will see the length, or I will return the length of the Sha1 file to verify that when we pass the second parameter with true, it will be 20 characters. Let's reload and see the results, and we have the hexadecimal number of 40 characters. Let's now use the same thing but with Sha1 file 2, and I will pass the Boolean. I will change it to true because by default it's false. I will just use the echo str length to print the length of the second, which of the second with the true parameter, so it returns 20 characters. So when it's false, it returns 40 characters, and when it's true, it returns 20 characters. Let's see how it works. So we have a txt file. In this file we have I love Utopian. When we pass this file to the Sha1 file, just this file only, it will return a hexadecimal of 40 characters. And when we pass it, this file with the Boolean, we have true and we have false. The false is by default will generate this hexadecimal of 40 characters, and when it's true it will generate a binary with 20 characters. This is the SHA1 file. After that we have the SHA1 method. What's this method? This function or this method calculates the SHA1 hash of a string also. This function computes the SHA1 of a string using US secure hash algorithm 1. It returns a string of characters on success and false other ways. It has also two parameters. The first is the string to calculate, and the second is the raw output parameter or the Boolean parameter. If this optional parameter is changed to true, the SHA1 is returned in raw binary form with a size of 20 characters. Otherwise, it's returned as a hexadecimal number with a size of 40 characters. Let's see another example to understand this method. So I will use the hidden, and we have SHA1. After that, I will create another string 3, which is I love utopian. So I will use SHA1, the same method here, and I will pass the string 3 as parameter. After that, I will use the SHA1. I will print it in the echo method, and I will use the break line to see also the length of this string, of this return string. So I will use the str length, and I will pass the SHA1 as parameter. Let's reload and see the results, and we have the same hexadecimal code because the file utopian.txt contains this string, and we have the length is 14. I want now to change it to true, and this is the result. It will return 20 characters of SHA1 in binary form. Let's see how it works. When we pass this string as parameter to the SHA1 method, it will return a hexadecimal of 40 characters, and when we pass it with the Boolean, with the raw output parameter, which is optional, it will return, or it has two values, false and true. False is by default will generate the same result with 40 characters, and true it will generate a raw binary with the length of 20 characters.